70,000 people are here, and then Bob Dylan is the reason for it.
Inspired by their true story.
For anyone who's going to hold your attention on a stage, you have to kind of be a freak.
Are you a freak?
Hope so.
And starring Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan. He defied everyone.
Turn it down! Play loud!
To change everything.
Make some noise, Big D.
Timothy Chalamet, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro. A complete unknown. Only in theaters Christmas Day. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
Well, honey, who do you want to invite this year?
Oh, gosh. I know a lot of people are going to be busy.
You know I'd really love to have?
Who?
Kathy Mattea. She was on my show a couple weeks ago. I just loved her.
I got a good idea.
What?
And I met Aaron Neville on a plane not long ago. He did one of those, are you ready for some footballs for Monday night? He seemed like a great guy. Why don't we invite him?
He's a wonderful guy. I love him. Yes.
I want to bring some of my friends, too.
All right. As long as their parents know where they are, you can send a few invitations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Perfect child.
You put your name down here, and this will be for your friends. Any more ideas?
Let's invite Andy Williams again. Maybe he can make it this year.
He's working in Branson, isn't he?
But maybe he can. We could try.
Haven't seen him for a long time.
I know. He's the sweetest. And you know what would be fabulous? If Aaron and Kathy and Andy can make it, why don't we ask him if they'll do a little concert at the Beaver Creek Chapel for the town?
That's a beautiful place.
You know, it'd be a shame to have so much talent on this mountain and not share it with everybody.
You know I can't be there.
Where are you going to be?
Well, you know I've got to be in Phoenix. We got a game.
Honey, I don't think you should play football on Christmas Day. That's un-American.
I don't either, but we get a heck of a rating.
From the ashes of the production company that brought you such classics as Nestor the Long-Eared Christmas Donkey, Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July, and Pinocchio's Christmas, it's Scraping the Vault. Ho, 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 ladies and gentlemen.
What'd you call me?
I'm your Christmas elf, Jimmy, and I'm joined with another ho, ho, ho. That's Dan.
I guess sure. I mean, if the shoe fits, I'm gonna wear it. Why not?
And we have
Yeah. See what you did? See what you did right there? I was wondering how we were gonna get out of that.
we did not prepare any of that.
The hoiest of them all.
That's right. Nestor the Long-Eared Christmas Donkey. It's a Pinocchio's Christmas from 1980. And then what else? Leprechaun's Christmas Gold and The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus. These are some of the Rankin Bass productions, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. They're ranking way up there.
They sure are.
And those were in order? I don't know. I think they're ranked from 12 to 1, starting with Rudolph. So I think it's the time they came out.
What's for
Because Life
dinner?
and Adventures of Santa Claus was 1985.
It's Christmas Bass.
That's ranking up there with best dinners.
Yeah. Speaking of
Rudolph
best
the
dinners,
Red-Nosed Reindeer being the first one. Little Drummer Boy was the second one. And the third one, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, yet to be discussed on this show. And then the fourth one, The Year Without a Santa Claus, which would be a tragedy.
it would be. It really would be.
It turns
or perhaps
out
a comedy like this movie is.
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, there are giggles galore.
We're just sitting around the fireplace with our cozy blankets and
Velvet robes.
We just
Hot chocolate.
Yeah, God. We just did our Scraping the Vault Secret Santa gift exchange.
That's right. I got
What'd you
this.
get?
I got this. It's Santa in an outhouse. He's in an outhouse, guys.
Every year.
It says occupied.
So, okay, listener, I need you to understand. Jimmy is legitimately delighted by this every time and makes a point of showing it to everyone.
Did you give
One
that
more.
to
Hold
him?
on.
It's been at least 20 years. And every single time. Every
I was up
time.
on the housetop.
Every time it's like the first time. And
our 4 listeners in Germany have stopped listening. They left the show.
No, they've told their friends. They have a farting Santa.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. Santa Claus. Oh.
That reminds me, you guys know Flula Borg?
Yes.
The name rings a bell.
He's very funny. Did you see the Pitch Perfect movies?
Okay. We need to get this band out of here. Yeah, thank you.
Bye, band. Thank you.
Thank you. Stick it for
Send your
eggnog.
tip.
Oh, nope, they're out.
Yeah, nope. Okay. All the
Jimmy, damn it! You have to bring out the farting Santa Claus. Everyone just leaves. This is the 4th Christmas you've ruined.
So did you see Pitch Perfect 2?
No.
Anyway.
Maybe.
There's the German guy. He's very funny. Anyway, they have a new Pitch Perfect spinoff with Bumper from the first movie.
I've seen his stand-up.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. Bumper in Berlin with Flula Borg. And it's also funny. You know who else is in it? Is Sarah Hyland, which is his love interest on Modern Family.
Oh.
So there you go. Anyway, Santa Claus is coming to town. Guys, we talked about it briefly before we recorded. I am an hour and a half late to recording because...
You mean a year without Santa Claus?
Yeah. But before we started recording this episode, I was an hour and a half late because my family and I went to see the Polar Express in concert. So the Polar Express played with the soundtrack of the speaking voices, but all the music was done by the orchestra, and it was glorious. Not a good movie. But it has very little source content.
However, if it was a Disney movie, Jim would be like, I don't know why people don't like this movie. It's the best movie ever.
Listen, I am not unapologetically a stand for all Disney things. Okay?
They had a reference to a chair in the tiki room. Why didn't everyone stand up and cheer?
That's fair. Listen, I can appreciate without like total love. Okay, anyway, I'm getting to a point. Source material of that movie is a 10-page book. So when you're trying to make a 90-minute movie, you have to put a lot of filler. I say that to say that the movie we're going to talk about today is one of my all-time favorites. I see it at least twice a year. Children or not, I will watch. And I learned yesterday, and I did not know this, that this movie is based on a poem. Uh-huh. The poem, also quite short. I think it's like a 15-minute read. And you're trying to make an hour-long movie, you got to put a lot of filler. Mm-hmm. That's what this movie is, mostly filler. And you'll notice at the beginning and the end, there is poetry, right? Did you ever hear that wonderful year before you were born? Yeah. And, Santa, felt ill and he hauled all the papers. I'm too tired for Christmas capers. And all that. That's the poem. Mm-hmm. And it goes from, just so you know, for context, it goes from the beginning of the movie. This is the poem. The beginning of the movie, which is, I'm sick, I'm not going. And then basically that part of the poem ends at it's the year without a Santa Claus, which is the first song. And then it introduces the idea of Ignatius Thistlewhite, who lives in Texas, who heard the news from the papers that Santa Claus was taking a day off. He's taking a vacation. And he gets up in class. All the kids are devastated, right? But Iggy gets up in class and says, listen, he's been giving to us for all these years. It's time that we give him a vacation, which is where the poem ends picking up with all the kids from all the world coming together, saving every penny, and giving Santa presents, which is the end of the movie. So
all right, thanks for listening, everybody.
So
really looking forward to the next movie.
Oh. Everything that happens from it was the year without a Santa Claus song all the way through to the end when the children of the world bring Santa toys and he says, oh, I feel great and louder. I've never felt better, grander, whatever. That's the poem. So for those of you listening who have seen this, everything else that happens in this movie is just filler. So 90% of this movie is not in the poem. There's not one mention of any misers, There's not one mention of Mother Earth or any of it. Now, there's a fictional, and we'll get there, but there's a fictional town called Southtown where the name of the paper is the Journal-Constitution, which famously, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The city of Atlanta is mentioned in the poem, but Ignatius Thistlewhite is either from Texas or some other place. I forget what they get in the poem, but I think this movie's set in Atlanta. That's all I'm saying. And it is also set in the late 1800s, I believe. Mm-hmm. You'll notice there's no cars.
No.
Horse and buggy, there's no cars. The way people dress, all of that, I think it's from the 1890s. But anyway, it's...
Check out, I think. They look like they're wearing Edwardian sort of stuff.
Yeah, right? So I have notes on it. I don't remember exactly, but we'll get to it. But anyway, that's the movie. That's the poem, I should say. Now, the movie is a musical, and I don't know it quite as well as I know Rudolph, right? And I don't do the voices as well. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to attempt. So, you guys ready to talk about this thing?
I know I sure am. But first, I want to talk about the year was 1974.
Oh, yeah.
I have in front of me a Sears catalog.
Go straight to the lingerie section.
Ooh.
So, one of you, let's say Audrey, pick a number between 1 and 1,560.
Oh, that's a big number.
We're going to explore that page.
Dan, you're a little quiet, so maybe...
Oh.
Yeah, or the music's loud.
The music's probably loud. I'll take care of it in the editing.
Okay,
so
I'm stalling to decide on a number.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's go with 824.
824. Let's scroll up from the bottom to 824. Let's see, we're at roughly 1,000. Hold on. This was not very well thought out. 824. We're close. 824. Let's see what delightful things we have.
Okay.
Oh, it's Craftsman gas chainsaws. Yeah. Super lightweight. Yeah. Less than 11 pounds for easy handling. Oh, hell yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing that existed. Gas chainsaws.
So happy.
I mean, they've just only recently become electric.
Okay, look, those of you listening, you might be surprised. I'm not a very crafty person.
You're not a craftsman?
I'm not a craftsman. Jimmy, pick a number that is
chainsaw.
Between 1 and 1,560, but preferably somewhere around where I currently am.
Where are we again?
800-ish.
Let's do 800.
Okay, 800. Let's see what treasures await.
Can we carry over some
okay.
gameplay?
We sure can. We sure can.
And we're going to guess how much these things cost, Audrey.
What department do you think we've landed in, first of all?
Housewares.
Audrey, what would you like to guess?
I think we're still in home and garden.
We are in the exhaust system.
Ooh. This is going to be fun.
Yes.
Halfway between.
We have, for a Chevrolet V8, 1967 to 72, single exhaust, we have a complete system for you can save 10%. What do you think?
I'm glad the band came back, by the way.
Yeah, well, we have to schedule these things. So... I don't know how to read. So for 1960s, I don't know how to read. For 1967 to 68, 307 cubic inch exhaust for that kind of an engine that's 34 pounds. What's your guess? Jimmy, you go first.
This is 1974.
Yes. Oh, they're back.
Thank you. Could you find another song, band? Just saying.
I could.
Maybe they just rehearsed.
It'll take some time.
2 songs. Okay. I'm going to say $11.84.
Ooh, Audrey.
1974.
Audrey is closer, but it was like $50 or something as I look for other music.
Well.
Oh, no. I was saying what year
He was
are we
asking.
in?
She was clarifying the year.
Oh, sorry. 1974
is the year. So
Okay.
now guess again.
Okay.
We've just left the gold standard. The U.S. currency is completely unhinged, limitless. You could print as many dollars as you want. So I'm gonna guess $19.74.
He already gave you the answer. You should have said 50.
I know, but I thought that would be cheating, Jimmy.
Okay. I guess your way was funnier.
Well, we didn't guess. We didn't guess what the chainsaw cost. I'm gonna go with $300.
Oh wait.
For that.
Okay, that means I need to
No,
go
that
back.
was $11.84.
Hold on.
$11.84.
As
No, I don't know
requested,
what he
I have something else.
No, the band, Dan.
Yeah, like the band has something else. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to 820. This is a lot more than I thought it was gonna be. Let's see, 824. Craftsman gas chainsaw, super lightweight. So saw only. The shipping weight is 4. Oh wait, are we guessing the weight?
No, you already.
No,
said
we're
it
guessing the
before.
price.
Oh, okay. The shipping weight is 14 pounds, 14 ounces. So for the saw only, what?
Does that mean no motor? Just the saw?
I'm not Mr. Sears, okay? Let's see. Audrey, you go first, and I'm going to say.
The saw only. I'm gonna go with 74.44.
Ooh, okay. Jimmy?
What did you say? 74 what?
44.
$1.
I see what you did. And Audrey, you have won again because it is $187.95.
Whoa.
All right.
If you're looking for a gas chainsaw and you have a time machine, go back to 1974 at Sears, where they have all the things you're looking for.
You gotta
as
get.
long as you're not looking for a dead body, because Sears
Probably
famously
don't
does
take
not
credit
have
cards.
dead bodies. They don't
Make sure
have
to get cash.
They might take checks still.
Oh yeah. But you have to predate them, everybody. Don't date them now.
Date them for 1974.
I'm from the future.
No, you don't understand. I listened to this podcast.
What?
No,
How did you
I'm
get
telling
here?
you, they did start making sequels to these movies. I know it sounds crazy.
I don't want to spoil it, everybody. But they made a live-action remake of this movie.
This whole
I know,
company is
I saw
going
that.
to disappear.
Okay, hold on. You know how Walt Disney died like a few years ago, okay?
Yeah.
So like they got no vision. Just think it through. There's something called a VCR. Some very rich person you know might have one.
Or a
Bob
Betamax.
Iger's
Betamax.
coming back.
Yeah, he is. It was funny on that point, real quick. Here's how I know that the algorithms bring you your information. When I woke up Monday morning, there was nothing. YouTube, Google, anything on the internet was about Bob Iger coming back at Disney. Mm-hmm. I have a good friend, one helped me build my waterfall. 0 of his stories were about Bob Iger. None. He didn't know. He has no idea. He doesn't care.
And that
so that's just
Chapek.
Yeah, that's true. He's a Chapek stan. But anyway, so I just everybody, listener, this is a public service announcement. The more you know. Just because it's everything that's in your feed doesn't mean it's what everyone's talking about. That's called what's it called? It's called where something bias.
Late stage capitalism?
Well, it's called the bias that, that you see it a lot. And so it's confirmation bias is what that's called. There are whole groups of people in this country who are angry because everyone's talking about all the crazy people on whatever side you may be, leaning towards. And it's only because of the algorithm. It's not because everybody's talking about it. It's because that's what you want it's confirmation bias. It's what you want to hear and believe. But there's a whole other half of the country that thinks you're crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, keep going.
Well, it's too late now. Anyway, confirmation bias. This episode is brought to you by confirmation bias. creating anger and hatred since 2020. Anyway, or whatever. Anyway, algorithms. Okay, I'm excited to talk about this movie. The Year Without a Santa Claus, Rankin Bass, 1974. This is the fourth entry in the Rankin Bass sort of straight-to-TV, made-for-TV films, based on the poem of the same name that was released sometime in the 1960s. I don't have it in front of me. I looked at it last night. Didn't know this was a thing until last night. I just thought it was a great Rankin Bass story. But of course it's based on something like Rudolph and all that other stuff. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Jimmy, before you go, we got to take a commercial break. Here we go.
Okay.
Very Merry, very Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season at Disneyland.
Disneyland presents the Very Merry Christmas Parade in a warm Disneyland holiday setting.
Sing, sugar, light your eyes and warm your hearts entirely. Disneyland.
Come enjoy Disneyland Christmas magic every day until midnight.
Merry Christmas, Christmas time at Disneyland.
Okay.
And we're back. I hope that you decide to buy all of those delightful products.
That's all.
Blue Chew.
Buy it, but don't use it. It's for display only.
Display only.
Get your Blue Chew and go to Disney.
Or wear it on your feet.
The second, that opening note, I knew exactly what it was, and I knew every lyric.
I know, me too.
Merry, 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 Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Christmas time at Disneyland.
I don't know. I've never heard that song before.
That's all right. It's the algorithm, Audrey.
Still out of the loop.
It's the algorithm and the fact that you weren't alive.
Oh, yeah. That too. I think my new, what's a more appropriate greeting is like, instead of, oh, hi, how are you? It should be, hi, what's in your algorithm today? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
what's your top Google story?
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be a good conversation. In fact, I'm going to steal that, Audrey. Next time I meet somebody for the first time, I'm going to ask them, what is the top story in your Google feed?
Yeah.
What a way to get a conversation started. They're like, oh, well, did you hear that Trump's campaign is going well or something? Nice to meet you. Sorry, everybody. I'm sure he's a wonderful man. Anyway, so the movie opens with an orchestration of Sleigh Ride. Let's go for a sleigh ride. And I talked about the poem. So Santa Claus wakes up with a cold.
Uh-oh.
Now, this is sometime before Christmas in the late 19th century. His doctor, not in the poem, who thinks nobody cares about him anymore, advises him to make some changes to his routine. So he says that, why are you doing this? Nobody believes anymore. What's the point?
This movie, okay, I can't say anything. This movie is the movie that it is, right?
Yes,
and
it is.
I realize that I kind of we've all slid into our roles on this show. Sure. And I want to make it clear that like, this movie's fine. It's just like, this is the movie we're watching. This is the movie it is. The movie is 100% the movie it sets out to be. However, watching it with 2022 eyes was very interesting because the whole time I'm just like, this doctor is like that Facebook post of like, no, I bet nobody's going to repost this because they don't love our troops as much as I do.
No,
or whatever. It's like that person. We're just like, how many of you will have the courage to say that you believe in Christmas spirit? I bet nobody will. It's like, shut up.
Okay. I don't know how you got there, but I appreciate your observation.
Yeah, the rabbit hole. I'm
right.
Okay. I'm sick, and also the algorithm.
So Santa decides to take a holiday instead of delivering gifts. By the way, if anybody's interested in what this poem actually is, highly recommend just Googling it. You can't download it to read. You can only download the audio version.
Mm-hmm.
But you can watch it for free on YouTube. It's great. Some Southern grandma reads it to you where she pronounces. There's like, the word cruller?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So,
is that like
he's in those
like
movies.
a donut?
Got it.
It's like a pastry, right?
Uh-huh.
So she pronounces it cruller, And then
Freddy Krueger, like the movies.
word that it rhymes with is fuller.
Crueler.
Crueler, and that makes it fuller. Wait, well, anyway, it's funny. She's great. Listen to it. It's great.
Yeah,
and everything I'm about to go through is not in this poem.
I did look for the text of the poem because I believe Asher...
I couldn't find it.
Asher did want to read it, but I couldn't find the text.
Yeah, so. I couldn't find I for like 30 minutes yesterday. I just could not. I even like downloaded an app to rent the book so I could read it. Because I wanted to start the show by reading the poem and then say, that's the poem. Everything we're about to talk about is not in the poem. This movie.
And I think Asher wanted to read the poem after the episode, regardless of where the episode went.
Did he have a
no, I did let he does have something for us.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How was his Thanksgiving?
I don't know.
Is he still in juvie?
Asher, go ahead and take the floor here. How was your Thanksgiving?
Yeah, let's leave him out of this for a while.
Yeah.
So he decides he's going to take a holiday instead of delivering gifts. So Mrs. Santa unsuccessfully tries to convince him otherwise. So she enlists two elves, not in the poem, named Jingle and Jangle
to
like find proof.
Rigetti and Pintel from the Pirates of the Caribbean, but elves.
Yeah, it's such the archetype. One's tall and skinny and dumb, and the other one's short and fat and whatever. It's the same old thing.
They're both.
Wait, shouldn't she be Mrs. Claus, not Mrs. Santa?
Well, she was Mrs. C. They called her Mrs. C.
Okay.
Mrs. C. Is that one of them sound like? And in the poem, it talks about all the things that they're not delivering, like the Noah's Arks, which is a really weird running theme in these movies. That all these kids, like the Santa Claus is coming to town. What got him going through chimneys was that there was this sick little boy, and he had to have his Noah's Ark. Like Noah's Arks are a thing in these Rankin Bass things. So he climbed down the chimney so he could deliver this special present to this kid, which is his toy Noah's Ark.
I have a really
Noah
fun
was
idea.
like the original He-Man.
Can I
suppose.
Can we get some computer programmers to make like Noah's Ark Tycoon? You know, like Zoo Tycoon?
Ooh, yeah.
But instead you get to build an ark. And
we need to do a podcast field trip to the Noah's Ark they built in Tennessee. It's like an amusement park thing.
Hell yeah.
Oh, well, by the way, later on in the episode, when we get to what we're drinking, it's going to be a Scraping the Vault destination. Like, we're going to meet there.
Oh.
Heaven.
Anyway, so I say all that to say that in the poem, it says, and the Noah's Arks, and then one of the, my favorite things is one of the elves, and the Noah's Arks. That's what he sounds like. And the Noah's Arks. Mrs. C. That's what he sounds like. Anyway, so they're named Jingle and Jangle to find proof that people still believe in Santa Claus. Okay. And now at this point, Shirley Booth, this is her last recorded thing before she died, I believe. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's what it is. She doesn't sing. She cannot sing. I don't know who she is. I don't know what she's famous for, but she's clearly a famous person because Shirley Booth tells the story of, right? She sings the song, I Could Be Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can be Santa.
Again. Sorry, that's that funny. Again, watching it with 2022 eyes, it's just like, some people might have problems with this.
That anyone can be Santa?
Yeah, I mean,
it's totally progressive.
I agree, but I can just picture like Matt Walsh showing up, like, hold on a second.
Anyone can be Santa.
What is a Santa?
And the Christmas on his way. I could be Santa Claus. And so she puts on the coat and the hat and she looks at herself in the mirror and she looks like Santa. She stuffs her belly, by the way. And then she's like turned around and the Jingle and Jangle come to the window. Santa, you changed your mind. And she turns around and Mrs. C. She's very excited. So it is cute. So Jingle and Jangle were sent out on the back of Vixen. Now Vixen's just a baby, right? One of the reindeer, famously Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, on it. Yeah, you get it.
Oh yes, just like that song. I really liked how they sat back to back.
Yep, and they're elves, so they're small. So this deer is very small because these two elves, who are presumably half human height, can't fit on this reindeer. So they put Jingle on, who's the bigger one, facing forward, and in order to make it work, they put Jangle backwards. So he can't see where he's going. He can see where he's been. So Jingle and Jangle set out with Santa's youngest reindeer, Vixen, but are shot down, by the crossfire between the conflicting Miser brothers. These are the Snow Miser, who controls the world's cold weather, and Heat Miser, who controls its warm weather.
And I feel like the movie...
Their character design is iconic.
You are absolutely correct. And I think that the movie is actually... It's kind of about them. Like...
The Miser brothers?
Because, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the, like, that's how they fill in everything. That
is 100%
it's sort of like, what if we have this situation? And then they explore that. Again,
it's the idea
not
of
a criticism. It's just...
Yeah, the idea of Snow Miser and Heat Miser. And for those of you following along at home, these characters very much play the role as the Winter Warlock in Santa Claus is Coming to Town. We're introduced to this menace, and only later in the movie do we actually meet them and understand that they have sympathy and whatever. But the idea of all these mythological creatures, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, the Mother Earth, right? So these are the children of Mother Earth, which makes sense, right? One controls the heat, one controls the snow. Anyway, so we meet them, but Vixen, she saves the elves as they're falling to their doom, and they continue on their uncertain path. Jingle, Jangle, and Vixen come upon Southtown, which again I think is Atlanta. It's a small community in the southern United States. They ask a group of children, including a boy named Iggy. This is the Ignatius Thistlewhite that we met in the poem, who defended Santa and said he should have a vacation.
Yeah. When Iggy appeared, that's when Asher just happened to like start asking me if I could find things for him.
Oh,
no,
boy.
Asher, not this time.
So a boy named Iggy, they ask these group of kids, and Iggy, they ask if they believe in Santa, but they're skeptical. To make matters worse, Vixen grows sick due to the warm weather and is sent to the local animal shelter after Jingle and Jangle disguise her as a dog. They put brown socks on her antlers so she looks like a dog now.
Hey, before we do that, we need to take another. We have so many sponsors now that we've gotten more popular.
That's true.
Yeah, here we go.
Hi, how are you today?
Worried. I've got a Christmas gift problem.
Gifts are easy at Hickory Farms. Relax. Try our beef stick.
Very nice.
We've got gift packs with beef stick and cheese too, like Smoky Bar. You tell us your gift problems, Hickory Farms will solve them.
Oh, well, I have quite a few.
We'll even send your gifts.
No, thanks. I'll deliver them myself.
Christmas gifts that are sure to please the Super Kids Podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Merry Christmas from Marlboro Country.
Oh my God, I can't believe. Okay. Welcome back, everybody.
Marlboro.
Marlboro.
The taste of
flavor
Christmas.
Don't
Enjoy
your kids
best
deserve?
with some hot sweet mustard, a beef stick, and cheese balls.
Oh, we're back.
Don't your kids deserve the best?
I watched. So Thanksgiving night, the unofficial start of Christmas for us. And Thanksgiving is relatively early. It's fourth Thursday of November, so we have another 6 days of November before. So Christmas season is quote unquote longer, right? Mm-hmm. We showed the kids Christmas Vacation on Thursday night, which was a delight. And then last night we showed our oldest one Scrooged, which he loved. It's all the swears and they say nipple. Anyway, okay, so the dog's in the shelter getting sick because it's hot, not dog. Vixen, dressed as a dog, goes to animal shelter because it doesn't have tags or whatever. And
they were so good they even fooled you.
It's true. So she's sick. The town's police officer tells them to go see the mayor, and the mayor is very entertained by the story, but agrees to free Vixen if they can prove that they are elves by making it snow in Southtown. That's how he's going to do it. He'll call the mayors and tell them that elves are real, Santa's real, because it snowed in Southtown where it never snows. And then he sings, "It's gonna snow, snow, snow right here in Dixie. It's gonna rain." I don't know the songs as well. Sorry.
I love that he's so doubtful that he's giving them this proposition that he's very sure won't happen, and then he sings a song about how it's definitely going to happen.
I like how he's dressed. He's got
he's a mayor. He's got a suit, coat, and it's got the pocket
sharp
watch, the chain that goes across the belly. It.
Also, Santa.
None of mayors wear sashes.
Agreed.
Santa looks real sharp in this movie. He's very dapper. He's got white gloves, and he's got this magenta or fuchsia colored hat and suit. And
he's got the pimp gauntlet. I knew I was going to mess that up. Damn it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. The pimp goblet.
If you recall,
chalice.
For those who are fans of the Rankin Bass, if you recall the animated, not stop motion animated, hand-drawn animated short story about 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Another one of these that is based on the poem, has to do some filler. That mayor very much has a sash that says mayor.
As all mayors should.
As they should. So anyway, it's going to snow right here in Dixie.
If your mayor in the town that you live in is not wearing a sash, I think you should go up to them and scream at them that they're an imposter.
That's right. Prove it.
Prove it.
Where is your sash?
I would love nothing more. You know how there's all these like unhinged videos of people at like any public event now, but usually like a school board meeting or something. It would be so great if one of them's like, "And where's your sash?"
Who made you the superintendent? I don't see a sash.
That's right. I don't know anybody who voted for you either.
Treasurer?
So Jingle and Jangle call Mrs. Claus. Now, I don't believe this is on camera. We don't see this. And let me remind you, it's the late 1800s.
But cell phones...
But there is a phone in a mayor's office.
Yeah, phones
There's definitely a phone in the mayor's office. So they call the North Pole to call Mrs. Claus to come pick them up. As she leaves, Santa discovers that Vixen is missing, and he travels to Southtown himself to retrieve her Vixen, while disguised as a civilian named Claus. So he meets Ignatius, the same kids that Jingle and Jangle met. They're still loitering as teens do. Mm-hmm. And so he shows up and he meets Ignatius Thistlewhite, who's a very kind young man. And he introduces himself as, he's like, what my name? Claus. Let me remind you, this man is wearing a red hat, white beard, red suit, but it's his like civvies, right?
Samter.
Satan Claus.
And in
Klaus Schwab?
I think the phone they use is one of those old timey, like, the one where you hold it up,
put the thing to your ear. Yeah.
And that, I mean, according to the historical document that is Main Street USA, those existed.
That's right. And the party lines where you can hear other people and then you had to be patched.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so he meets Iggy, Mr. Claus, and they go, like, he sneezes because he's still sick, right? The whole reason he was going to take a vacation. So he sneezes. Mom opens the window. Oh, Iggy, I hope it wasn't you, dear.
Wait a minute.
No,
did
it's
Santa
my...
get Vixen sick? Is that what happened?
Probably.
They're saying it's the weather, but I think Santa just, like...
Well, he's doing his own research. Let me put it that way.
It's the North Pole. Can you blame him?
Anyhow, so Mom opens the window. I hope that wasn't you, dear. No, it was my friend, Mr. Claus. I mean, a very sweet boy. This old man says hello to him, and now they're friends. So we'll bring your friend inside, and we'll get him out of the thing, and we'll give him some medicine.
Again, with 2022 eyes.
Yeah, right?
Such a different movie.
Yeah. So I think even 1974, this wouldn't happen. But anyway, in the 1890s, you never know. So they come, they're all sitting around the dinner table, having dinner now. Dad's there, and they start talking about, like, Iggy's like, hey, I met these guys today. They looked like Christmas elves, but Christmas elves don't exist. And Santa's like, what? And then they're like, he's like, I don't know if I believe in Santa. I think I'm kind of too old. Dad, do you believe in Santa? And of course he does. And they sing the song, I believe in Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I believe in love. I believe in all the things and everything he does. There's no question in my mind that it does exist. That's my Mickey Rooney.
And by the way, this moment is the reason why I didn't download any of the songs.
And then they do it together. I believe in Santa Claus. Because what happened was Iggy's dad was visited by this very man when he was a kid in bed. And then he's like, Santa's like looking down at him.
Again.
So you don't believe in Santa Claus?
Oh, God.
How about now, little punk?
How do you think I got in here, you little bitch?
I'll make you believe for good.
Yes, so Dad reveals that Santa personally visited him one Christmas and still believes as well. When Santa Claus leaves to retrieve Vixen, Iggy realizes his true identity and realizes that Jingle and Jangle were elves. That's the real guy, everybody. So he's like, what can I do? And they're like, well, go help him. That's what 8-year-olds do for old men.
I'll give you something to cry about.
Anyway, so now at this point, Iggy finds the elves, right? They go to he goes to the mayor's office, finds the elves, and hooks up with Mrs. Claus and Vixen. Oh, no, wait, sorry, not Vixen, because Santa takes Vixen back to the North Pole.
Just be clear, connects with, not like in the traditional.
Yeah, sorry, meets up with.
not like the current vernacular.
Yeah, good point. 2022.
What's up? What's up, Mrs. C?
Mrs. C? Iggy joins Mrs. Claus when she arrives to pick up Jingle and Jangle, and together they visit the Miser Brothers. Mm-hmm. And this is where we got our first ditty, which is the Snow Miser. They go to see him first.
One. Here we go.
That's good.
Here.
I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. I'm Mr. Icicle. I'm Mr. Tender. Snow miser. Whatever I touch turns to snow in my clutch.
Come on, sing. I'm too much. Louder, come on, sing. Come on.
Oh, I love it. that from Batman Forever?
Sure is.
Batman and Robin. He's Mr. Ten Below. Friends call me Snow Miser. Whatever I touch turns to snow in my clutch. I'm too much.
I don't love how it ends with "I'm too much." It's just like, oh, I guess.
Well, then the chorus.
Whatever.
So when we were texting about this, I said, "Did you pull the songs or should I sing them?" And Dan says it's funnier if you sing them. I was like, "Well, then you guys have to do the chorus on the Miser Brothers song." He's Mr. White Christmas. He's Mr. Snow. Too much. Anyway, so Snow Miser song, they ask Snow Miser to send, the whole reason they're there is because the mayor of Southtown will believe that their elves and Santa's real if he can make it snow in Southtown.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, will you let this happen? And he's like, of course I will, but you're going to have to get it past my idiot half-brother, the Heat Miser.
Half-brother? Are they not fully related?
My half-brother.
Oh.
I don't know. Listen, Mother Earth is a slut.
Oh
she'll let anybody in there.
She looks like she's married to Radagast from The
She's
Hobbit.
Definitely earthy. She's very earthy, this woman.
Uh-huh.
You don't have it, but basically, listener,
I don't know. It's the same.
It's the same song, except it's I'm Mr. Green Christmas. I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. Heat Blister. I'm Mr. 101. Friends call me Heat Miser. Whatever I touch starts to melt in my clutch. I'm too much. Boop, boop, boop. I never want to know a day that's under 60 degrees. I'd rather have it 80, 90, 100 degrees. He's Mr. This is you guys. He's Mr. Sun. Anyway. He's Mr. Heat Blister. He's Mr. 101. Friends call me Heat Miser. Whatever I touch starts to melt in my clutch. I'm too much.
You sure are.
All right, so then they ask Heat Miser, who says he will only comply.
Go on a fetch quest.
That's right. He'll say, yeah, sure, you can have it snow in Southtown for a day if I get the North Pole. The North Pole. I think that's what he says. So, yeah, they're not having it. He's like, Heat Miser's like, no, I want the North Pole. And Snow Miser's like, no, I'm not going to let it happen. And they get mad at each other and they shoot like ice crystals and lightning bolts and stuff at each other. And then, and then Mrs. Claus is like, I didn't want to have to do this, but I'm going to have to call your mother. Not mother. So then they end up back at Mother Nature is her name. Mother Nature. That's their mother.
A sweet lady.
Boys. It's like Mrs. Garrett, a little. Oh, those boys, they're very sweet, but they're all boys. So then she calls them one at a time. And they appear with 1974 stop motion animation magic. Magic.
So they fade in.
Yes, they fade in. After a lightning bolt, Dan. And then they slowly fade in.
Oh, man. So she's secretly Thor.
Yeah, kind of.
She has lightning power.
Yeah, Thor.
So much mythology.
My son just watched Love and Thunder on his own the other day. My 9-year-old, he loved it. It's a good movie.
I haven't finished that one.
It's fine. It's clearly made in a pandemic. It's clearly like everyone's the only people you could be around were your family. So like Chris Hemsworth, everybody's families are in it. Chris Hemsworth's daughter is his daughter in the movie. Spoiler.
Yeah.
All the kids are Christian Bale's kids and whatever. It's just obvious. And Taika Waititi's great, but
it's just interesting that like people got so upset about that movie when like it's like you did see the trailer, right? Like this is clearly not going to be a movie that takes itself seriously,
right? And it as an answer to Ragnarok, it wasn't great.
But I got that too.
As an answer to Thor: Dark World, it's phenomenal.
Well, I mean, a punch in the face is
sure.
is a good answer. But I mean, I feel like my feeling about it was basically, and I will finish it at some point. it was sort of like, if this was like an episode of a TV show, this would be awesome. And it would be one of those episodes where it's like, okay, this is kind of a weird one, but they're taking some risks and whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm kind of enjoying the series. I really, the fact that they can do like the She-Hulk, that's not something you invest hundreds of millions of dollars to do on the big screen, right? That's one you can explore in 30-minute bursts. You still introduce the important things that have relevance to the overall MCU.
Then have the CGI done in like a community college or something.
Exactly. That's what you expect, right? Because it's a damn dog. Anyway, so like the Guardians holiday special was so many wonderful things. It's everything you want. It's a total homage to all that stuff from the 70s, specifically the Star Wars one. It's a variety show. But at the same time, it carries the plot. Like if you don't see that, there will be elements of the third Guardians movie you don't understand.
Huh.
So it's kind of one of those.
That eventually.
I think you'd appreciate it for what it is because it doesn't take itself too seriously. In the credits, because it's a Guardians property, Guardians of the Galaxy set in another galaxy or whatever. And Star-Lord talks about all these things that he loved as a child because he only knew them up to 1984, which is when he was abducted, when the coolest person on Earth was Kevin Bacon, and he saved a city by teaching him how to dance. Like this is famously in the movies. I'm not spoiling anything. It's in like the preview. So Drax and Mantis go to Earth to kidnap Kevin Bacon as a Christmas present for Star-Lord. In the credits, because it's a Guardians movie, it says introducing Kevin Bacon.
That's awesome.
Because he's new to this universe, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So
maybe they should call it Guardians of a Galaxy. Because it's not, because it's a multiverse.
Totally. It's a good point.
Just an idea.
Just like how they should call American Horror Story an American Horror Story.
Yeah, right. It's a lot more specific.
And they should call this movie Good. Because it was good. I liked it.
And you're talking about The Year Without a Santa Claus?
Yeah, the movie we were supposed to talk about, not stupid Marvel movies. Come on.
Sorry. So back to the movie.
Okay, before we get back to the movie, we have another
ad.
Here we go.
Take advantage of Pay and Save new low prices for Christmas.
Pay and Save has the gifts you want at our lowest prices of the year.
Like these Atari game cartridges, only $26.88 this week. Pac-Man, Defender, Asteroid, and Sword Quest. Make for great enjoyment on your Atari 2600 video game.
And these cartridges are specially priced this week at only $29.99. $5 savings on fun for the entire family.
Gifts.
Oh, okay. Well, the feed just gave out. So
and we're back.
$29.99 for a video game in the 80s. Like that seems like a lot because you can get Switch games for $30 now.
Well, I think that they're more available. They're more available now.
So I mean, a TV. When we bought our first flat screen, it was heavy as balls.
Mm-hmm.
It's heavy. It was a 36-inch screen, 40-inch screen, Sony, $1,500. You can get, and that was in the 2000s. You can get a 40-inch TV for like $150 now. That weighs like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Technology gets cheaper.
So, what's that?
Technology is getting cheaper.
Yes, that's true. And that makes sense for the video games. Anyway, digress. So at this point is where we're about to get back to the end of the poem, okay? The kids are sad. They're going to have a blue Christmas. So you have children singing, which is always like gross. And they're singing.
What if your two kids were like part of, you have 3 kids?
2 kids.
2 kids. Okay, that's what I thought.
Sometimes it feel like 3. You know?
And I have none that I know about.
What if your 2 precious cherubs were part of a choir? Like, who would love kids sing?
And I've listened to it. One of them is tone deaf, and the other one sings lovely. Sings really well, and it's cute. I mean, it's cute when it's your kid, right? But when it's I don't know. Anyway,
1970s for children.
Like,
no.
You know how composers, like we were talking about Alan Silvestri earlier because of the Polar Express. Very much a style, right? You know when it's an Alan Silvestri because of a certain time. Like you hear Back to the Future, you hear same with John Williams. You can tell. You can hear Jaws. Maybe not Jaws, a bad example, but you can hear Indiana Jones in Star Wars, and you can hear you can hear it in Harry Potter, right? Very much the same with what I was going to say that I don't remember now. But you can very much hear that's a style. Oh, Danny Elfman. We were watching Scrooged last night, and like 10 seconds in, I'm like, this is Danny Elfman. Sure enough, it was, because there's little kids singing.
La, 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 yeah, and they're singing la la la. Yeah.
Very Elfman.
Jimmy, you had seen Scrooge before.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah,
okay,
I just never, and I'm sure I knew it was Danny Elfman, but it's just one of those things I don't think about, right?
Right.
It's been a while.
He's not necessarily like known. Oh, he's the guy that did Scrooge.
Exactly. Right. Anyway, so we're kind of getting back to the poem. Kids Sing Blue Christmas. I have one very specific issue with this song where a child is drawing a picture of a tree to send to Santa Claus. And the tree is blue. Okay? And she's coloring green ornament balls on this blue tree. The song says decorations of red on a blue Christmas tree. But the tree she's coloring is green, ornament is blue. I have a problem with this. That's all. Decorations of red.
There's a red bow on the top of it, isn't there?
Christmas tree. Anyway.
When are we releasing an album, Jimmy?
I have one.
You have a Christmas album?
I have a CD. No, not a Christmas. I have a CD that I made for my girlfriend, now wife, my ex-girlfriend.
Oh my gosh. Well, sell it to our listeners. I'm sure they're lining up outside the record stores right now.
The record store. They're at the Virgin.
Let's enter it in some dubious copyright issues.
Yeah, it's cute. She was on a cruise ship. I was living alone in Atlanta. We were having a long distance sort of love affair. It'd only been a year or so since we started dating, and that part of the relationship. You burned down the
Christmas.
This is the year I burned down the Christmas tree. I was having a blue Christmas, Dan.
Oh my God!
It was the year without my girlfriend.
That's a red Christmas because the tree was on fire.
Well, yeah, a very wet Christmas, by the way. By the way, Dan, the other day we were putting out Christmas ornaments, and one of the very first ornaments that I bought, I think I bought with you at Stone Mountain Park in Stone Mountain, Georgia, with the largest Confederate memorial on the planet.
Hell yeah.
The Mount Rushmore of Confederacy.
Yes.
Where Stonewall Jackson, Jefferson Davis, and Robert E. Lee are carved lovingly on the side of a mountain. And there was a Christmas store, and I bought the book and ornament of Santa and the Christ Child.
That's right.
The book, listener, is about
I totally forgot
Santa in the manger with baby Jesus. And Jesus says, Santa, this is my holiday. It's a baby. Anyway, I have the ornament of Santa Claus kneeling at the baby Jesus's
the baby's
manger.
Like ripped.
Yeah. This is my holiday, Santa. As Christmas approaches, the world's children send their own presents to Santa, setting off international headlines. We're back to the poem. Touched by the
I just want to, just in case anyone on there is like seething that we're laughing about this, think about think about the timeline of events. That's it. I'm not saying that, you should or should not celebrate things in a certain way, or you should or should not believe certain things or whatever. I'm just, one thing definitely came after the other in the chronology of events that
yes, Santa
I'm
was
just
not
going to hand to you are 100% true and historically accurate.
Yes, Santa was presumably not kneeling
Right.
Especially this version of Santa with the red coat, hat, and everything like that.
Right.
That was sort of an invention of the Coca-Cola company, largely in like 1900 and something. Anyway, so it was a way of reminding people that the holiday's not about Santa, it's about Jesus, right? We all know this.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so going back, closed loop, lonely girlfriend across the thing. I made a CD in a recording booth in San Diego in a professional studio because I had a friend who ran the studio. Anyway, released to her.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so kids are bringing toys just like in the poem. Santa decides to make his journey after all. He's so touched by the outpouring of love from these children. So, spoiler warning, this movie's title is false because there was no year without a Santa Claus. There was a threat of a year without a Santa Claus.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yes. So, on Christmas Eve, he makes a public stop in Southtown during a snowfall. It really did snow right here in Dixie. The next day, the children, including Iggy, are delighted to receive their presents. As the special ends, Mrs. Claus narrates that somehow, yearly, newly, faithfully, and truly, Santa always comes. If you know what I mean. Santa is shown getting out of bed to prepare himself, his reindeer, and his gift-loaded sleigh, remarking he could never imagine a year without a Santa Claus.
Yay.
It was the year
By the way,
without a Santa Claus.
Got a fun joke for you. Why doesn't
ears.
Santa have any children?
Why?
Because
he
always comes down the chimney.
Presumably there's a lot of ash.
So
if
you'd like to complain about this episode, give us a call at 856 Our Ears.
Our Ears. Concierge. I don't have a concierge plug. Thank you. There was a live action remake of this film, ladies and gentlemen. The Year Without a Santa Claus, presented on NBC on December 11th, 2006, and was released on DVD the following day.
I'm glad I didn't watch that by mistake.
I almost did as a bit, but then I thought, nah, it's not going to work.
Well, by the way, it's the same. See, it's the same thing. Like, for example, John Goodman stars as Santa Claus, Michael McKean as the Snow Miser, and Harvey Fierstein as the Heat Miser.
Yeah, okay.
That's brilliant casting, by the way.
Yeah,
that is brilliant casting. It's basically the same plot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got some trivia. The painting hanging in Santa Claus's bedroom is the same one that is put up in the town hall at the end of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Also, Mickey Rooney voices Santa Claus in both Santa Claus is Coming to Town and The Year Without a Santa Claus. It's the same character.
Some people think Marvel did it first, but no, it's Rankin and Bass.
Based on the fashions and architecture of Southtown, the short probably takes place between 1890 and 1915. During the song Snow Right Here in Dixie, a Charles Chaplin figurine appears as a Southtown resident. Jingle Bells and Snow Miser resemble one another. Jingle Bells and Heat Miser also resemble one another.
And I bet they're voiced by the same person.
Oh! You're so right.
This was Shirley Booth's last filmed acting project.
Mm-hmm.
I already said the thing about Mickey Rooney. The appearances of Snow Miser and Heat Miser were based on those of their voice actors, Dick Shawn and George S. Irving. Jessica / Mrs. Claus has red hair in Santa Claus is Coming to Town in 1970, while the much older Mrs. Claus in this film has red highlights.
Oh, that's
they looked pretty blonde.
She lived.
The names of the reindeer are consistent with Clement Moore poem. Vixen is the baby reindeer who takes jingle blah blah blah. As of 2021, this movie now airs on Cartoon Network.
Oh.
Or you can pay to watch this thing that used to be free every year on Google. It's one of the few things that you can't watch for free.
I think you could probably find it on Amazon
I tried.
Prime. No?
Nope.
$3. Send an invoice to
regardless.
Jason at earsup-podcast.com.
But before you do, we have our final commercial break.
Let's make something different for Santa this year. Cello jigglers.
Yeah! Jingle bells, jigglers, stars, jigglers all the way.
Santa loves jigglers. Use your favorite holiday cookie cutters in the recipe on a box of Jell-O brand gelatin.
Oh, what fun these jigglers are when Santa's on his way. Hey!
Santa won't come till you're in bed. Happy holidays from Jell-O brand gelatin. Santa won't miss just one. Oh, Bill, oh boy.
Okay, we're back. I think it's best that we don't make any comment.
Except if Bill Cosby's Santa, he won't come until you're in bed.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
He's America's dad.
Ladies and gentlemen, we, Scraping the Vault, are going to have an on-site reunion, and we're going to have it at the Santa Claus Brewing Company in Santa Claus, Indiana.
Cool.
I don't want to go to Indiana.
Eat, drink, and be merry. The Santa Claus Brewing Company is a world-class brewery and restaurant offering a selection of craft beer, burgers, pizza, wings, steaks, chops, and more. Pick up a growler to commemorate your visit to America's Christmas hometown. Conveniently located within walking distance to Holiday World and Splashin' Safari and Sun Outdoors, Lake Rudolph.
Oh my God. So there's a Lake Rudolph, and these people decided we're going to just like make some Santa-based
Which
stuff
came
around
first?
it. Yeah.
My question.
It's true. Jesus or Santa.
So here's some of the items on the food menu at Santa Claus Brewing Company.
Ooh.
You can get some ravioli bites, fried ravioli.
Yum.
Jalapeno poppers,
What?
pretzel sticks. You can get some bone-in wings, boneless wings. You can
Damn.
get Rudolph's grilled chicken sandwich, Vixen's vegan burger.
Oh.
You can get a German sleigh ride sandwich. German sleigh ride, Dan, is a thick-cut wedge of Merkley fried German bologna dressed to order and served on a brioche bun and pickle.
Indiana.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, our friends, the Boys and Boys, are.
Oh,
one of them is in Indiana.
Probably, yeah. Here's some beers. Santa's Summer Ale is a light, refreshing cream ale, perfect for warmer weather. And then the Lincoln Summer Wheat, which is a light American wheat ale. And then Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president, grew up just a few miles away. That's not a beer. That's just a factoid on their beer menu.
Wait, you said Indiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not Illinois.
No, I said Indiana.
Okay.
It's Santa Claus, Indiana.
But, okay, well, I guess maybe Abraham Lincoln moved. I'm just saying that, like, I don't necessarily...
Maybe Illinois, close to Indiana. I don't know where he...
Maybe they're just embracing that, like, they're just like, you know what, Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, it's all the same place, whatever.
It's in the middle, it's got an I. You can get the Atomic Snowman IPA, a tasteful Indiana pale ale blend of Citra and Galaxy hops. That is what we're going to do on our big reunion tour.
Great.
Audrey, what are we going to... Well, I already told you what we're eating, but if you have another menu item to suggest.
Just a bowl of Frosted Flakes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Snowy.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't... mutton, venison.
Oh.
Probably some chicken soup because you have a cold like Santa.
Totally. It's very wintry.
Shredded wheat was invented in the 1890s, so shredded wheat.
Perfect. Not frosted, mind you. That's too outlandish.
Well, see, like, we started with shredded wheat, but then in the 70s, I'm sure Frosted Flakes existed.
74.
So, yeah, we just, natural progression.
White powder was generally very... white powdery substances were very popular in the 70s.
And the 80s, they got more popular.
And speaking of white powdery substances... speaking of white powdery substances...
Segue.
David Bowie. I'm sure I've covered him a lot.
Frosted Flakes invented in 1951.
Ooh.
Okay. Who's David Bowie?
David Bowie is he's a musician who I'm very fond of.
Must not be very good then.
Of course not. He's nothing like the Beatles. The
Beatles are really good.
Yeah, they're the best band ever.
They're the best band that's ever existed.
It's not It's not physically possible to make music better than the Beatles made. But this
Bowie character tried.
This Bowie character, he sure tried. 1974 is an interesting time period for rock music generally, because that's kind of where the window slams shut on anything new or interesting happening in glam rock. When I say glam rock, I'm not talking about Skid Row or Guns N' Roses. I'm talking about men in high heels doing glamorous things on stage to rock music for like the first time. So Roxy Music, they finally find their place and decide to become soft rock for a while. Bowie, he went through his Ziggy Stardust phase, got tired of it, and was like, what do I do now? A lot of, some people were going to jail. And this is kind of 1974 is where we start to see it's becoming inevitable that we're going to go in a kind of R&B disco direction. So it's kind of like a fire sale for glam rock music. And David Bowie released an album that is severely underrated called Diamond Dogs. And what you should do, go out, you get that album, go to your local record store, stand in line.
I'm waiting for Jimmy's album.
Exactly.
I don't want to buy this Bowie guy's album. He sounds like he sucks.
Get yourself Diamond Dogs and skip the first
CD. I don't have a CD player anymore.
It's also on Betamax. And skip the title track because it's awful. The rest of the album is wonderful. And what makes it so interesting is this is at a time where Bowie was very clearly out of his mind on cocaine, and he was aware of this, but he was like, hey, YOLO, I'm just going to make some coke albums. Why not? He worked as his own producer, his own guitarist for the first time. Basically, this is Bowie. This is pure Bowie.
Dang.
And he wanted to make a musical based on 1984. And the author's wife was like, no, you're not going to do that. So he was just
how
like,
insane is that?
Whatever. I'm coked out of my mind. I have all these weird ideas. I'm just going to release this album that is nothing but these weird ideas. And one of these songs is called We Are the Dead. And it is vaguely based on his ideas for the 1984 musical. And we have to talk about this.
Something kind of hit me today. I looked at you and wondered if you saw things my way.
So mainly because we have to talk over these, but also anyone who is looking at your friends who are huge Bowie fans and thinking, so you just like the guy that did Let's Dance? I don't understand what's wrong with you. These are the tracks that make his music really interesting. It's almost like the singles, you could just toss them out. It's the album cuts that are like, that's why people are into him.
This is the Major Tom guy, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't clarify earlier.
This doesn't sound like Penny Lane by the Beatles.
Yeah, my other favorite movie, Labyrinth.
This song's amazing.
And this is also kind of where he learned how to exist in the studio. There's a lot of mistakes in there that are amplified. There's like inconsistencies with how things are recorded, but these all end up becoming like staples of David Bowie's music. Yeah, Defecate in Ecstasy, one of my favorite lines in any Bowie song ever.
And just so we can close the loop to why this song with this movie?
This is 1974. Got it. That's all I got.
That's great.
He didn't wear the shirt. for...
And by the way, this movie is defecating ecstasy.
Yeah, well, just like your, you know what? It's based on your Santa Claus, Santa Claus Outhouse thing.
The Santa Claus Outhouse.
There we go. Here it is.
It looks like I'll be in here a while. How about passing me some milk and cookies?
I know what our show image is going to be now. It's going to be the outhouse. In front of a David Bowie album.
Oh, God. Yep.
Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you for listening. I have to say, but, this is a fun show. We enjoy doing it. We're glad you're listening. Tell your friends. You don't have to have watched the movie in order to get a full understanding of what these movies are. Go through some painstaking detail to make sure that you know what's happening. And Audrey and Dan are very delightful.
Thank you.
And we have other shows on the network. And I want you to, if you do like what you're listening to, please go on, give us a 5-star rating and review it so other people that you don't know, if they're looking for comedy podcasts about horrible movies, specifically straight-to-video Disney sequels, like Rob. Rob513 says, "Scraping My Brain" is the title of his review.
Hi, Rob.
The details you guys go into for the straight-to-video movies is awesome. I love the show and will continue to listen and laugh for a long time to come. So thank you, Rob513, for listening and reviewing us. Please go on and rate and review, and we can read your review on our show. Other shows include Ears Up in Depth. A recent Ears Up episode was very fun. Eric did the history of the turkey leg in the parks. That's a fun episode. Eric did a good job.
Love turkey legs.
Yes, it was a history of turkey legs at Disneyland and the Disney parks. Ears Up in Depth is a news show. The Supreme Resort, also a delightful show. Our latest release is out. Don't remember what it's about, but it was good.
It's the Gothic Rosie one, I think.
Gothic Rosie, Gothic Rosie. She's great. She was a delight. Go to Gothic Rosie's Instagram and Facebook page to learn all the latest and greatest about what's going on in the parks, Disneyland specifically.
Probably probably a dirty yellow strap on that
dirty
feed
yellow
sometime
strap
soon.
Yes, dirty yellow strap is
what Bob's
going
to have to say.
Twitch feed of Bob Chapek and Josh Tomorrow.
Yep,
Bob Chapek no longer with the Walt Disney Company, so it'd be interesting to see what they have to talk about.
Thanks, algorithm.
Yes, and also Supreme Resort next episode. I think we're going to have Jack Plotnick. If you don't know who that is, go on YouTube and search Jack Plotnick Disney. And if you're a fan of the Disney parks, which I'm sure you are, you will go down a rabbit hole that will make you very, very giggly. Obviously, there's Scraping the Vault, and there's the Bantha Milk podcast. I know that Bantha Milk guys listen to this show, so hi, thanks for listening. You know, I'm going to say it, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy
New Year.
And yeah.
Until next time.
Perfect
Be
timing.
kind and
rewind.
Hey there, kids. It's me, Asher. I'm a real kid like you who is cool. Also like you. If you're still listening to this, you know what's up. So let's have some cool kid talk. We both know Santa isn't real. Santa is for babies. I'm 10 years old. That's basically an adult. A lot of people are probably gonna ask you if you still believe in Santa, and I know you probably want to tell them you don't. Because you're not a baby either. But listen up. The second you say you don't believe in Santa, you're giving up about a quarter of your presents. All it's gonna be is sweaters, school supplies, and weird cologne samples they give out for free at Macy's. But if you keep it up for a few more years, you'll keep getting the full motherload of presents from your parents and presents from Santa. Sure, you might still get some baby stuff because adults don't really know what to get for those of us who have matured a little bit more. But the point is they'll feel like they have to buy you more stuff. And that's really all that matters. Well, smell you later. And don't forget, you believe in Santa until they start suggesting that you keep your door closed from time to time. I don't know what that means, but my older cousin said to do that. And he's deep in crypto now, so he knows what's up. Merry Christmas, nerds!